Andrew Rasso. Let's move on for you and talk about budding tech companies themselves having now the opportunity to showcase their ideas to global innovation leaders and entrepreneurs, all part of this year's Talent Unleashed Awards. These awards are going to be held in August. They'll be judged by a selection of Australian and international talent, including Sir Richard Branson and Steve Wozniak. The awards were founded by IT recruitment firm Talent, all designed to encourage tech startups to take their businesses to the next level. Now, this coming as the government's pushed its innovation agenda, including funding the launch of a startup accelerator program. Carrington Clark speaking with Talent founder and global chairman Richard Earl.
Our core business is technology recruitment, and we're the largest provider of technology professionals across Australia and Asia Pac. We have 15 offices globally, so we connect with most of the technology community, which is 350, 400,000 strong in Australia. So it came to our attention a few years ago that a lot of these guys who work through us have some great ideas, but haven't had the confidence to bring them to fruition. So the Talent Unleashed Awards was launched to encourage these guys to take their ideas, do something with them, and to generally lift the Australian startup sector, which you know has probably been lagging behind other parts of the world, and which is a shame because we've got fantastic infrastructure here, some smart people. So the awards are about really encouraging, recognising, profiling these people, and helping them bring their ideas to the fore and take them to the next level.
There are some interesting categories. From looks of it, there's 5 categories. As you expect, there's things on tech innovation, best startup tech innovation, there's best digital SME tech innovation. But interestingly, you've also included best startup social impact.
Yep.
That's obviously a harder thing to measure as a starting point, and not necessarily something a lot of startups are focused on.
Yep.
A little bit more, may arguably be a little bit more subjective. How are you going to try and measure
Sure, yeah, that's a good question. Look, part of our mantra as a business is we're about change and changing the world to be a better place, and I think more and more businesses have to focus on that. And I think, you know, if you look at our judges, Richard Branson through Virgin Unite is heavily involved in that space now, looking at making the whole world a better place. Same with Steve Wozniak. We've got Jane Houston, who's done some amazing stuff in that space. So we've got some judges who are very capable of assessing such entries, and look, they can be the smallest idea, a big idea, but things that are just going to make the social or the community or the environment just a generally better place, and very much with a mind on the future and tomorrow's world, and you know, the future for our kids and society in general.
You've had these awards going for, I think this is your 4th time, or for 4 years.
Yeah.
Talk us through some of the ones you've already identified. Those who've already won awards, have they gone on to greater success? Is this a case of you trying to highlight people at the early stages in the hope that the country is going to take notice, or is it just about recognising what they've already achieved?
No, look, some have certainly gone on to the next level. I think, you know, last year a company called Valpic recently listed, and they've had a stellar sort of start on the stock market, so that's great to see. A couple of years ago, a business out of Queensland called Liquid State, Philip Andrew, who's behind that business, seems to have cracked the US market and got funding. A business in Hong Kong called Omea, which is doing some great thing for in the medical sort of hearing space, has done some great things. Judo with Playmob in the UK has received significant funding, and in fact has been awarded an OBE by the Queen. So there's a lot of examples of some of these guys who have really gone to the next level, been recognised, importantly received funding. So, you know, I think if we added it all up, I think some of these guys have received tens of millions of dollars worth of funding to get their ideas and their companies moving along. Well,
money certainly helps, but as you would well know, given the line of work that you're in, talent is really what make or breaks these startups. We keep being told that Australian startups, even more broadly, the big end of town, struggles to get the talent in the innovation space, struggles to get those people with the technical skills because they are competing in such a global workplace. Do you think it's improving? Are we seeing either young Australians coming through the ranks, coming through the university sector, or are we being able to attract talent from overseas?
Okay. Look, we've got a lot of smart people here in Australia, and there was an alarming fall-off in enrolments for STEM-related courses. I think that the whole nation got obsessed with the mining and resource boom. And we saw a lot of young kids going into engineering-related courses, thinking that's the future. Well, obviously, that's kind of on hold at the moment. So it's early days, but I think, I think there's renewed interest in that space. I think the other thing is to encourage people to take risk. And look, I talk to a lot of people who have ideas, and I meet with them and they go, oh, I'm not sure if I want to do this, can I take the risk, and so it's a mind shift thing as well, of just getting people more prepared to take risk, and it's okay to do it. In terms of overseas people, I think immigration and visa rules have been draconian, and I think we have to improve and increase skilled migration to this country. If we can attract smart people, and also companies as well, where perhaps with tax incentives, if you congregate smart people together, good things will happen from a creative or innovation point of view.
Well, on that point, Silicon Valley is obviously used as the exemplar of how you get the ecosystem working well, but they have the advantage of having huge tech companies where you can have someone employed receiving normally a considerable paycheck and then being able to do a startup maybe in your own time, either late afternoons or on the weekends. We don't have that here, do we? We don't have those big tech companies with a base here that allows people to do startups on the side. So how are we going to replicate that environment, and how do people do the startups while making still sure that they can pay their bills?
Sure. So it's difficult to create big companies overnight, so we've got to start with small companies, and that's what this awards program is about. And I think, look, if we've already seen small companies become medium-sized companies, and the bigger that base of companies in that sort of category, the more likely it is to attract investment and interest in the whole thing. And look, I think there seems to be a lot of venture capital in Australia that's looking to invest. Not all of it is necessarily motivated by the right things, but look, I think we need to see medium companies become larger companies and create a concentration, and whether it's in Sydney or Melbourne, but have central points where we create communities of these great startup companies and ideas and innovation.
And what do they get to win? I see a suggestion here that they get some exclusive one-on-one time with Steve Wozniak and perhaps a trip overseas as well.
Sure. So Steve will be here for the grand final, I guess, and he's really passionate about this. He said, look, I want to spend time with the finalists, the winners. I want to meet them. I want to take them out to dinner. I want to get to know them. So he's amazing. His capacity to listen to every single idea and talk to people is unparalleled. So the winners will have that on the day, and then the 5 category winners will go to Silicon Valley. We've put together a package where they'll be welcomed by Steve again, and we're arranging a tour of some of the big technology companies in Silicon Valley and San Francisco, people such as Salesforce, Apple, Facebook and LinkedIn and these types of companies. We'll put them in front of some of the mature venture capital companies and get them to impart wisdom, if you like. How does it all work? You never know, something might happen as well. And also we're looking at a tour of Stanford University, which has of course produced more technology entrepreneurs than anywhere else in the world. So hopefully it's going to be 4 or 5 days of massive insight, and these guys will come away with great ideas and more inspiration.